Paris Olympics, and in case of Bhajan Kaur also, she fought really well, but she couldn't really progress to the quarterfinals. But then there is a silver lining, as Indian veteran Deepika Kumari has qualified for the quarterfinals, and a match is going to take place this evening only. Once again, all the hopes will be on her, and she'll probably look to ensure that India this time comes with a maiden archery medal.
It is bittersweet, let me tell you why. Because everybody has been criticizing Deepika Kumari for her performances in the team event. I'll just like to give you one bit of a context as to why the criticism of Deepika Kumari is so misplaced. Firstly, she became a mother. Just before the Olympics, if you look at it, she didn't even have the time to prepare. Now, a couple of years ago, I had spoken with Atanu Das,
who is Deepika Kumari's husband.
And also a veteran archer.
Yes.
Atanu Das, he revealed his regime. Since there is not much of an infrastructure, and that South Korea shoots about, every archer shoots on an average of 400 arrows a day. Atanu and the Indian archers have to shoot about 800 a day. Why? Because just to ensure that they are on competitive terms with the other nations, they have to shoot double that.
True.
Deepika Kumari, despite all the vile, misplaced criticism that was there, you just could not fathom it, and that's why 6-4 she's beaten Michelle Kroppen. She looked good in most of the games. If you look at first set, she won very comprehensively, then she drew the next one, then she won again. Unfortunately, if you look at it, Michelle Kroppen did manage a comeback of sorts, but then in the last she drew, and that is why Deepika Kumari, a fantastic performances, a couple of eights. The one problem that I sensed with Deepika Kumari said was that whenever she took time until the very last moment,
that's when the shot wasn't really up to the mark. But what stood out for Deepika, or what probably was the game-changing moment when she fought Michelle Kroppen, was that in the third, fourth, and fifth sets, which there were those middle shots, and all of them went for a perfect 10, and that's what really changed the game or turned the game in Deepika's favor, and that's why she won it 6-4.
I mean, looking at it, Kroppen had 2 bad shots.
Yes.
Deepika had 2 8s in the last 2 sets, but it didn't matter because she followed up with a 10 and a 9. Kroppen, if you look at it, she consistently hit 9s, but she never hit a 10. In fact, in the entire game, if you look at it, Kroppen hit a 10 only twice.
Yes.
Deepika was far more consistent in that, and that is why she managed to ensure that she went to the quarterfinals. But my heart goes out to Bhajan Kaur.
I mean, she started off really well, but she was like 4-2 behind. Then she made a comeback. All the 5 sets, the final score was 5-5. It went to the shoot-off, but then there was the other shooter who really, who made that shot of 9, and she qualified, and Bhajan had to miss out.
Now, let me tell you about her opponent, Cheruniza Dhyananda, from Indonesia, a veteran archer. She is playing in the second Olympics. She actually won the silver medal in the Asian Games at Jakarta, Palembang in 2018. So that is why Cheruniza Dhyananda is actually a very good archer if you look at it. So Bhajan Kaur was facing a much more difficult opponent if you look at it. Lost the first set by a margin, and again, in the very beginning, I was even listening to Atanu on commentary. He said that somewhere down the line, when she was hitting on the right hand side of the archery board, what happened was the wind is blowing like this.
Yes.
So that was dragging the arrows away at the very beginning. So you needed total control. Now I understand Bhajan is a teenager, first Olympics, managing the wind conditions is very difficult. Her first 2 shots of 8 meant that there was a problem. But why I said the wind factor is important is because Cheruniza in one of the shots hit a 7. So the wind which was coming from the right hand side at the very beginning of the match impacted both of them. But Cheruniza, because of the first set that she had 10, 9, 10, and Bhajan had an 8, 10, 10, that 1, 8 ensured that she got into the 2-0 deficit. But then the fight back that if you have to remember this archery thing, remember it for Bhajan's epic fight back, because from 5-3 she made it to 5-5. In the 5th game, what happened? Bhajan hit a 10. Cheruniza didn't even hit a 10. That is why she won that set 27-26. But then in the shoot-off, this is where Purnima Mahato, the archery coach, we are all asking who's that individual behind. That is Purnima Mahato, who's the archery coach. She was really encouraging her, be steady, straight line, don't panic and all that. She was telling her, more focus on the straight line and that. But then the pressure. Cheruniza, because she had taken the lead, she took the first arrow. So she hit a 9. Now the rules in the shoot-off state, whichever arrow is nearer to the center
10,
mark,
yes.
to the 10, you win. If you hit a 10, if the other opponent hits a 10, then it's a matter of millimeters, how many millimeters you are from the center point.
And if you hit a 9 and your opponent hits a 8, then you qualify.
Chairunisa hit a 9. Only thing Bhajan had to do was get it into the inner 10 or a 10.
Yes.
But unfortunately, what happened, because of the pressure, Bhajan hit a 8.
But she can be really proud of her performance. But once again, if you look at Indian archery as a whole, they've really disappointed. There have been some great performances by the likes of Dheeraj Bomma Devara. Then there was Ankita Bhagat, who couldn't really do well in the mixed team event. And then there is Bhajan Kaur, who really stepped up. But then once again, experience, lack of experience really played a role in her event now. And then there is Deepika Kumari, who is India's, I think, last medal hope in archery that's remaining.
The only medal hope that you have got in archery now is Deepika Kumari.
Yes, and her event is going to take place this
At
evening.
5:05 p.m. IST, the medal event. That's the only medal event that you have got. At 12:18, you have Nishan Dev, but Nishan Dev loses, he's out.
In boxing.
In boxing. So that is why the only medal hope that you have is from Deepika Kumari. But understand the situation. The criticism that was there for the women's team is that, yes, you put up a very tame fight against the Netherlands, you have blanked out 6-0. The criticism is valid. But singling out certain individuals, for example, Ankita Bhagat, yes, those 2 sevens and that 8, it killed off India's chances in the mixed team event. There were things like, Dheeraj Bomma Devara was fighting
looked
3.
like a man possessed.
He looked like a man possessed, and he was fighting 3 archers. It's unfair.
No, it's
because
absolutely unfair.
This was Ankita Bhagat's first archery event. The people are talking as if India has won 20 archery medals, and as if we have had a climb down. In fact, Deepika, if you look at Ankita Bhagat and Dheeraj Bomma Devara have managed to make it the first team to get into a medal contention.
First Indian mixed team to make it to the archery's medal contention. They missed the bronze medal by just a very
by a whisker.
Yeah.
So that is why criticism is there, but it should be in the right areas.
True, constructive criticism as they say.
But in India, that doesn't exist. There is nothing called constructive criticism in any kind of sport. Because if you had known constructive criticism, you'll understand the background also.
Yes.
The comments on Deepika Kumari, the things that have been written against her, is not done. It is like we are wanting to criticize and went out because all the other events have not given us medals. We want to just went out at the wrong individual. Ankita Bhagat, sure, 7s and 8s, it hurt India. That is a fact. But understand, this is the first Olympics.
True.
Anybody can misfire. For example, I'll give you an example. A badminton legend, Tai Tzu Yin, one of the best badminton players in history. She will go without having won an Olympic medal. That is the harsh reality of this. So understand one thing, that Olympics is not it's just like you come into the archery ring and just
we also talk about India's Sharat Kamal in table tennis. It's been phenomenal for India over the years. Won multiple medals in Asian Games and Commonwealth Games. Hasn't really won an Olympic medal, but then that's what the competition is all about. Sometimes it doesn't really happen. So I think that's pretty much about it from us from here. What do you think? Are Deepika Kumari's chances of landing a medal in archery, which could very well be India's maiden in the sport? You can let us know your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today for all the exciting updates that we bring to you for Olympics, cricket and any of the other sports. Until then, on behalf of Siddharth and my producers Shashwat, it's Siddharth Gulati saying goodbye.